Modern medicine is an ever-expanding field, so it's no surprise that there exists an ever-expanding dictionary of specialized medical terms. Two of the most commonly used ones are ICD-10, the International Classification of Diseases, and RX-Norm, a normalized dictionary used to classify prescription drugs. These two databases represent data in specific and different ways. ICD-10 contains afflictions of all sorts, and it's arranged in a hierarchical structure. Each disease can have one parent and any number of children and siblings. In this example, you can see that other diseases of blood and blood-forming organs includes a number of siblings as well as several children underneath it. RX-Norm represents data in a more explicit database form. Each drug has attributes and links to other items in the database. Despite all the conveniences of modern technology, it is still not a simple task to quickly look up terms in these databases. Currently, there exist websites that allow you to look up terms and codes using these databases. In a hospital environment, though, a computer with an internet browser is not often within arm's reach. These days, more and more people are carrying smartphones that can give them quick access to the web. However, a problem becomes obvious when you try and look up an ICD-10 or RX-Norm term on a mobile device. The RX-Norm search tool simply cannot be launched on a mobile device, and the ICD-10 site, while usable, is not optimized for such a small screen. There do exist a few apps that provide mobile access to ICD-10 and RX-Norm, but they each have their own problems. This ICD-10 search tool, while it looks nice, contains a number of typos and only displays the most basic information. And this RX-Norm app seems to be well designed, but it's only available for HP WebOS devices, which is a limited market to say the least. In an effort to create a solution for this problem, we have developed TOMCAT, the Tabulation of Medical Codes and Terminology. Our goal is to make a mobile web interface for both RX-Norm and ICD-10 that gives users access to this data quickly and easily. I'll show you how it works. When you first start up the app, you'll see our main screen. As soon as you start typing, the title bar collapses so that it takes up less of your screen, and you can see more results. As you can see, we have an autocomplete feature which will finish what you're typing before you even type it. So from here we can click on any of these options and click search. And it'll bring up a list of matching ICD-10 chapters, sections, and diagnoses. In this case, we just have one diagnosis that contains this term. And I can click anywhere around the title text. That includes the area, which makes it easier to use with your finger if you're using a touchscreen. So I click that, and it'll bring us to the definition, and it shows us what terms it includes. As you can see, there's the term we searched for, which is why it came up in our search. From here, you can also look at the parent diagnosis, E77. If we click on that, it'll go here, and from we can see that parent or the children. So we can go back and we can see the siblings of this, and we can hop between them very easily. Now let's take a look at our search options. We can turn on and off auto-completion if we wish. We can also change the amount of auto-completions that are displayed from a lot to 0 or 5 if we wish. We can also search by code instead of keyword. So I'll show you how a code search looks. You can see it's only displaying 5 results at a time. For reference, here's the first iteration of our interface. You can see that it's visually unappealing and hardly optimized for mobile use at all. We've made great strides since the first milestone last month. So, how does it work? For the front end, we use AJAX calls, so the auto-completion and results will appear near instantly, with no new pages needed to be loaded. Because of the sheer size of the databases, we decided to store them server-side and use PHP scripts to call the information. It is slightly slower than keeping the data locally, but it means the end users don't need to download a several megabyte app just to do a search. The RxNorm and ICD-10 datasets needed to be converted to our database format, and keywords needed to be extracted. Our progress so far includes the full implementation of ICD-10. We have also implemented the RxNorm database, but it is not yet integrated into the front end. The interface has improved significantly since the last milestone, and it's now much more visually appealing and usable on a mobile device. Finally, we have all of the planned functionality of our interface completed, including the auto-completion. Our future goal is primarily to get the RxNorm database completely integrated. This means retooling the interface to allow the user to search either ICD-10 or RxNorm, and perhaps both at the same time. Our interface could also use a few tweaks to make it better on a small screen. In particular, the search options can be difficult to use on a touchscreen. And if time allows, we plan on creating two versions of the interface. The one we currently have, which is designed for small resolutions, and one for a desktop computer that takes advantage of the extra space. This shouldn't be too difficult since it's just a matter of rearranging items. Thanks for checking out the latest progress on TOMCAT. We at Team Terrestoria are really happy with how the project is coming along, and we're looking forward to completing the project next month. We hope you'll check it out then.